I can talk about this, okay, because it's been reported in the newspaper. It's been reported in the Greenwich Times about my involvement in this. Otherwise, I wouldn't say a word about a client, especially something like this. But Gary was running for a member of the Parks Commissioner or something like that, right? And someone was objecting to it, and they wrote this horrible email making these horrible accusations about him, and sent it to all the members of the city council who had to approve his appointmentship. So, I don't know how I got word of this, but I got word of this, and I contacted Gary, and I said, hey, this is what I do for a living. I trace emails, you know? And he goes, oh, well, boy, you could help me. It would be great. Right? So I didn't charge him anything, you know, but it still is a client. And I was able to determine right away that it was a fake email account that was sent from a public library over there in Greenwich, Connecticut, and that the email had just been created like 5 minutes before these emails were sent out. Okay, so it's not a real email. Someone created a fake email for this purpose. Okay. So he thanked me, you know, oh, thank you so much. And so, you know, I'm talking to him through email, and I says, hey, would it be okay for me to put out a press release about this? And instead of getting back to me and saying, oh, Ed, you know, we'd rather you not, I would say, okay, fine. I don't have to. You know, I do many cases, you know, help people out, and I don't get a press release, you know. It helps business, you know. But some cases you do just for permission to do out a press release and talk about it and bolster your prestige in the business. But he didn't come back to me and say no. He said, like, Tim Sabian or one of these other managers over at Sirius Radio to contact me and say, oh, we'd rather you not do that. This long email about, you know. So, you know, I can kind of sympathize with people who feel that, you know, hey, you know, they invested a lot of time and effort and things for the show, and then we're kind of like treated poorly, you know. I can kind of sympathize with that, which is pretty much how everybody over at Radio Gunk seems to feel. And everyone, I don't know if you heard this story about Scott Salem, Scott the engineer, whose wife had cancer, and he put a GoFundMe up to raise money, and Howard would never mention the GoFundMe on the air, and then he didn't donate any money to it, and then also, too, he banished Scott to a different part of the building and never involved him in on-air activity again, you know. So just horrific things like that you hear, just heartbreaking stuff. And that's what we got there. Oh, boy. Let's see. How we doing here? Because I'm exhausted. Oh, happy Friday. Let's see. Oh, jeez. We're really short on material tonight. Hey, okay. Well, you know, I got to say, I got into this thing. There's these live streaming, I guess they're live streams they're called, you know. And one is meetme.com, and another one is Plenty of Fish, where you can go there and watch people live stream. They'll talk into the camera live, and people chat to them in the message box. All right, so when I first started seeing this, I became addicted to it. I was just so amazed, because especially, too, I found this when I first moved to Florida. So when you get here, you can click a thing that says near me, nearby. And you click that, so you only get people that are nearby you. And you see these people. And when I got down in Florida, every single one of them had this twang in their voice, you know. And they're all saying, you know, what you doing today? Nothing. What you doing? Chilling. What you doing? Nothing. you know? They're just smoking pot all day long. Smoking. You know, but just doing nothing with their lives. No job, on there 24 hours a day, man. So, and I've, you know, a couple of people, you know, you become attached to them. You know, they're very entertaining naturally. You know, they're just fun. Some are just fun just because they're dumb, you know. And some, you know, they're just talented people with charming personalities. So last night, it was around it was this morning around 6 a.m. Okay, 5 a.m. I wake up, and you know, I got this thing going on right now because I destroyed my laptop. I spilled some liquid onto it. And I can't use my laptop in my bedroom anymore, so, you know, we have to get a laptop too. Okay. So I have to get up now and check my email in the middle of the night, and to see if anybody's as an emergency that they need me. One of my clients, So I get up every 5 minutes to check the email in the living room, and then I go back to bed. But on my phone, I can watch this Plenty of Fish live stream, and you can set people as your favorites, okay? That you find interesting or attractive or whatever, charming, and you set them as your favorites. But there was nobody good in my favorites. It was on last night because most of my favorites too are gone. I haven't used this thing in months. They drift off the page, I've actually become friends with a couple of these people in real life, the Florida ones. So Nearby wasn't working, and what's that thing called? Favorites wasn't working. Couldn't find anybody good there. So I went and looked for new. Who's new on the site? And I like to look at people that are new because they're not boring and jaded. They're still excited about all the attention they're getting, and they put a little extra effort because they're enjoying themselves. So I hit new, and I see an attractive woman. I said, okay, let me pop on her and see what she's up to tonight, if she has anything interesting to say. Because I found this woman the other night from Colorado who's just sits so mellow and so cool, just talking away, man. And she talks a lot about her ex-boyfriend and her ex-boyfriend and her custody problems and stuff like that. But still, it's really an interesting voice, soothing voice from an attractive woman. So I click on this one, new. A woman named Holly something, right? And I click on that. And it turns out, the first thing I see is they're in Vegas. And it's a couple, okay? And it's this greasy guy with long hair, and he's lying back with his shirt off, got tattoos all over him. And she's straddling him, grinding him, okay? And he's got his hands down her yoga pants and stuff like that. I'm watching this. I've never seen this before on this type of forum. And he's talking all this gibberish, man, about there's sharks and there's prey, and in our future we're going to be taking over the world. And I'm listening to this. I'm saying, this is like the most amazing stream I've ever seen. It's from Las Vegas. And some, like, a trap house. Okay. And then she's got a torch. She's heating up the heroin. He's smoking the heroin, okay, on the thing. And he's going on and on about how, this is how life should be, and this is what we should do, and we're going to be taking over the world, we're going to do all this stuff. And real, like aggressive kind of talk, like he's full of himself. And meanwhile, they're in this house with a bunch of roommates, and one of the other roommates come in, and they both just scare you to put their clothes on. They're sitting there, the other roommates talking to them, and they're just sitting there obediently, all humble to him. Then he leaves, and they're back to their whole thing, right? And then she says, this is Vegas, man. It's Vegas for you. What a typical Vegas dope addicts, man. And then she says she has to go to the bathroom. And some people will take the camera into the bathroom and do their makeup and stuff like that. But she takes the camera into the bathroom because she has to pee. And so she adjusts it in a certain way that you can't see her peeing. She turns the water on so you can't hear her peeing. But the wall behind them, this plasterboard, has holes and has been chipped away and torn away. Like one of these meth heads went in there like clawing at this wall with a claw hammer or something like that. Oh my God! It was I watched this thing for like 2 hours straight, and then it was like, if it's like 5 a.m. here, it's like what 3 a.m. in Vegas, and something happens. Okay, we gotta go. All my stuff is over there. I gotta go get all my stuff. They're gonna take my stuff, and they're leaving in the middle of the night to go. Wide awake too, by the way. Too, they're not even the least bit sleep after smoking all that heroin. Craziest live stream in the world. I'm going to try and find them. If I do find them, I'll tell you exactly what their name is. You can find them too. We'll make them famous. But I got to tell you, wild, man. One more thing. No, not Christmas, Holly. One more thing that's been on my mind lately that I can't seem to wrap my head around. Because, Carter Page is suing, I think, Mueller and Comey, okay, but he's got a lawsuit now, right? So, it just blows my mind. Carter Page. Whoa. Remember, Carter Page was, during the Trump campaign early on, they said, Mr. Trump, who are your foreign policy advisors? And he says, well, one of them is Carter Page. very brilliant man. I mentioned when he went to college, and he's an oil and gas man. Carter Page, right? So, people start looking into Carter Page, this kind of goofy guy, and his name comes up in the Steele report, the Steele dossier, and that Carter Page is over there in Russia, traveling back and forth to Russia, talking with these Russians and talking with the head of Rosneft, which is this Russian oil and gas company. And Carter Page admits it. Yeah, I talked to him. So then, Carter Page, he's swept up in the FISA warrants and all this stuff. They're spying on him. The FBI is spying on him. And the reason why it turns out that Carter Page is off the hook, okay? And all of the Trump fans and the MAGA people are behind Carter Page 100%. Carter Page, the FISA warrants, and they went after Carter Page, an American citizen with FISA, with illegal, dodgy dossier. I'm doing Sean Hannity for you there. So, all the MAGAs and the Sean Hannity, and they were all behind Carter Page 100%. Because Mueller put the warrants on him, right? Comey and Mueller put the warrants on him. The FISA warrants. But the reason why Carter Page didn't get any trouble is because in his activities over there in Russia, he was working in the capacity as a CIA asset. He was working for the CIA. Gathering information for the CIA and putting together cases for the CIA. Because there was actually a previous thing where he provided a ton of information to the Central Intelligence Agency. So now, I gotta ask, okay, if everyone in Trump land is doing backflips and over their heads and all upset about the deep state and the intelligence, and the CIA and the FBI and this, if they're all so scared and spooky of those people and pissed off at those people, how is it they don't hate Carter Page, who was a CIA asset who was inserted into the Trump campaign? They're complaining that Mueller spied on the Trump campaign. Not Mueller, Comey. Comey spied on the Trump campaign with the FISA warrants. And they complained that he spied on Carter Page. When Carter Page is one of them. Okay? How come they don't hate Carter Page? It makes no sense. And I don't have it in my notes, but there was another thing that didn't make sense either. And I forget what it is now. On the other end of it. There's no reason to explain why Trump would not be shouting from the rooftop, the CIA planted a guy in my campaign. Except that maybe it makes him look stupid, more stupid than he is. But it makes no logical sense why all the right-wing pundits and talk show hosts and all the fans of Trump don't hate Carter Page for being CIA and being inserted when they hate Comey for inserting a warrant and spying on the campaign. It just makes no sense, And I had another one, too, that didn't make sense from the other way around. But I forget what it is. So I can't say it to you now. All right? And there was another thing I was going to bring up, but now I don't remember either. So I don't think I'm functioning too well today, to be honest with you. Okay, let's see. What else was there? Let me play a little commercial break for you.
And now a word from our sponsors.
Have you ever thought about opening your own mobile cart or kiosk business? Maybe the facility you manage could establish new revenue by adding coffee, food, or retail services. Cart King International can be the answer to your needs. Cart King is a North American designer and manufacturer of the finest mobile coffee, food, and retail carts and kiosks. Cart King has been working with clients and corporations across North America for 20 years, providing innovative designs, custom manufacturing, and timely delivery. Carts and kiosks are fun, and so are the dozens of designs on our website. Please visit us today at www.cart-.